Good evening, happy Tuesday. I want to go ahead and thank everyone in the community for joining Design Like a Star. And we are going to go ahead and get started on the Canva Basics tonight. And in this 2 hour class, you'll learn how to quickly design clean, on brand content using Canva's tools, whether free or paid, in the pro subscription or on the free subscription. This class is for beginners, creators, small business owners, and educators who may have no prior design experience. And what you'll learn here is how to navigate Canva from the home section to projects, templates, brand hub. You'll learn core editing skills on text, photos, icons, spacing, alignment, and grouping, as well as how to pick and customize templates without looking templated. You'll also learn color and font basics for clear and consistent visuals, how to create a simple brand kit, colors, fonts, and optional logos, and how to export crisp designs for social and print. And tonight we have some resources that we can do, and you're going to access those by heading over to the classroom in school and clicking on the Canva 101 The Basics. Here in this course, you will see a class resources section. Go ahead and click that, and it will take you to a brief description of what we have to offer, and you can download everything here. In tonight's resources, you'll be getting keyboard shortcuts, a wonderful cheat sheet, font pairing mini guide, color palette starter pack, export and sizing cheat sheet, and then a brand style board template. This template here is what we're going to use to construct our mini brand kits, and you can download that for free here. Please note it does say 0+. Just go ahead and put 0 and click I want this, and then you'll be prompted to check out. So we will go ahead and get started. Once you download those things, we are good to go. So now I am going to stop sharing my screen and then head back over to Canva. Okay, so can I get a 1 in the chat if you can see my Canva screen? And I thank you. Okay. So the first thing we want to go ahead and get started with is, what is Canva? So Canva is actually a free browser-based design platform that helps anyone create professional-looking graphics fast. It's honestly built around a lot of templates, drag and drop editing, and built-in assets such as photos, icons, and shapes. So imagine like a Photoshop, but everything that you need built in if you don't have the visual assets that you need. So this actually makes it perfect for social media posting, flyers, presentations, simple videos, and one-page documents. So, what we're doing in this lesson is to help you understand what Canva is, what it's best for, where it has its limits, because it definitely is limited in some areas, and how to approach design inside of Canva so your work looks clean and consistent without feeling templated. So, as some of you may know, Canva does offer templates depending on what you need, but I recommend that you stay away from these because if you don't tailor it to your brand, it can start to look very templated and then you'll start to look like everyone else. But we'll get to that later on in the course. So, why Canva? Canva is fast. You can start from ready made templates like here for Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, thumbnails, flyers, and even more. It's super easy to use. There's a drag and drop text, photo icons, and shapes without advanced software skills. So pretty much anyone can start to use it without any design experience. It's extremely consistent, so it allows you to save colors and fonts for a simple brand look. Even on the free plan, you can work from a DIY brand style board. You can do different templates. Meaning creating your own templates through Canva. So whatever your business is, whether it's for social media or you have a purse line or you sell cosmetics or whatever the need is there. And then when to use Canva. So Canva is really good for social media graphics, like post stories and covers, one page PDFs. Yes, you could create PDFs inside of Canva, worksheets, menus, presentation slides and basic videos, simple logos, brand style boards, event flyers, and even simple printables. So, like if you want to do like business cards, or if you have something for your kids that you want to send to school, this can all be done inside of Canva. So, your next question, I'm sure, is how do you get started with Canva? So, we're going to go ahead and start on the home screen. And when you first open Canva, so I know it can feel like a lot depending on if you have prior design experience or not. If you don't, it's very overwhelming because it's a lot to click on. But don't worry, we'll walk through all of the different places you can end up and how to use those things. So let's start off with the framework of Canva. So here you can search. This is going to be your search bar on the home page, always. So your homepage is going to look different depending on if you started designing or if you're brand new. If you're brand new, there's going to be nothing here in this section. But if you do have some things like I do here, it'll be here. So through that search bar, you can actually search in your own design. So if I was to put like my name in here, I'm sure everything would pop up because my name is on everything. But if you're looking for specifics, you can search here through your folders, designs, and uploads. And you can even filter what you're looking for. So if it's an image, you can find just images. Or if it's a video, you can find just videos. Even down to the category, the type of content you've created. So if I want to pull up all my websites that I've done, I can see that. If I want to select who the owner of this project that I'm looking for is, it's going to be under here. Now, what this is for is more so if you have like a Canva Teams plan and you have multiple people on the account and you need to find a specific design made by someone. So if you're by yourself, you don't really use this. And then date modified. So if you know you worked on something in the last 2 days, you can go ahead and select yesterday. So that is in your designs here. Now, if you want to search templates, same concept. You can do print, logo. If you're on a theme, fall, right now, you know, it's Halloween, anything for business. And then, of course, you can select different design types. So if we were looking for a presentation, we could go ahead and look through all of these templates. Now, Canva AI is something that is fairly new. I'm not 100% a fan of it just yet. But it doesn't mean it's not a great tool. But you can do a million different things in here. You can code, you can use Canva to generate images, videos, so on and so forth. So if you want to spend some time with the Canva AI, this is the place to do it. And that can be found in that search bar. So the next area we're going to navigate to is your projects. I briefly talked about it here in the recent designs area. But if you want to be able to see everything that you've worked on and everything that you've essentially favorited, which is going to be called your starred here. You can see that here. So Canva actually allows you to organize projects. I have hundreds of projects inside of Canva, and I'd say probably a fourth of them are actually organized because I find it a little bit harder to navigate here because I haven't done my folders the way I'm supposed to. So I just kind of leave everything willy-nilly. But you can save brand templates. You can save all of your images that you've uploaded, videos, so on and so forth. As we can see, I have a million screen recordings and things that are not organized. One day, maybe. But this is where all of your projects are going to be. The same concept with the filtered area. You can even filter down to the newest that you've actually worked in if that helps you find what you need. And you can also go ahead and see it in a different view. So if you prefer to see it this way, there you go. Now on this side, if you are a person who likes to favorite things to be able to come back later and find it a little bit easier, this is going to be your section here, as well as your most recent designs. This is why I recommend you name it something that you know for sure is going to help you find it a little bit easier. But this also, the naming process also helps when it comes to being completed with the design and actually downloading, but we'll get into that a little bit later. Now, templates, everybody's favorite section. And no shade to the templates. We love a good template. However, like I mentioned earlier, it can get a little shaky and repetitive if we use the same things. So let's go ahead and head to graphics just to show you a brief example of what I mean. These things here won't come across repetitive in designs because they're graphics. Whereas in templates, if we want to use, let's see, Instagram posts, if I use this and Joe Blow uses it and then three more people use it, it's clear that it's a template. So we definitely want to go in and change it. But if you aren't in the place to exactly design just yet, I can appreciate that and use templates, but make it your own. So say you want to use berry seasoned beverages, change up the colors, change up the fonts, change up things to make it uniquely your own. But it's definitely a good starting place if you don't feel 100% confident to design just yet. Sidebar, that matcha looks really good. Okay, so now the brand hub. This is where if you have a brand of any kind, no matter the niche or the business type, you actually want to go ahead and set up your brand. So that brand kit we're going to create tonight, we can actually import inside of Canva. And every time we go to create something for our brand to remain consistent, it's actually already saved. So our colors are already in here. Now, when you are on the Canva Pro or Canva Teams, the elevated tiers of Canva, you can actually add multiple different brand kits. Now, if you are doing any type of client work, what I recommend is you have your client sign up for Canva and then invite you to their team and then set up the brand kit inside of their Canva. That way it doesn't infiltrate your designs and you can get a little bit better organization going on with your own things. Now, brand templates, you can actually create your own brand templates inside of Canva and save them here. So this is when I say a OG template, it's not even funny. This is something I created for a long time ago to create mock Instagram feeds. And I wouldn't just use it for this brand. It was just a mock Instagram feed in general. Okay. Didn't know it was gonna play, but cool. So yeah, you can actually save those here and they would all show up there. For me, I don't typically use any. I'll use like the same features and the same colors and that kind of thing, but my content is never really the exact same. So I don't set up any templates, but my colors and typography are set up as a brand. Now, brand controls. Let's go ahead and check this out. So brand features work best when collaborating in a team. So this is best for what we were talking about earlier. If you have multiple people on your team and you want them to be able to have access to certain things. So for example, I have a client who shares her Canva teams with me to be able to create brand assets, and she shares colors, brand fonts, and I believe images, but she doesn't have like design approvals on or brand assist. So you can really customize what you want that brand to look like. Now, we talked about it briefly earlier, Canva AI, you can go in and check it out if this is something you want to dabble in. But let's really focus on the app section here. So you can do a million and five things inside of Canva without having to source other platforms. So for example, there's AI generation in here. And it's more than one. Like if you need music or you need a voice, you have different things that you can select and choose from to really tailor your designs, but also cater to the audience and the type of content that you want to create. From voiceovers to different communication, there's pretty much everything in here for you. Now, what I like to use a whole lot, I think it's in here. I'm trying to see if I can see it really quickly. I'll show y'all inside of the design, but keep this in mind. If you have, here it is, image upscaler. This helps a lot, especially if you're doing client work who may not necessarily know how to send you a high resolution image. You can throw your image in here and you can increase the resolution up to 16 times depending on the image. Canva will let you know whether it can go 2, 4, 8, or 16. But this helps a lot. So this is a really good tool for y'all to use if you deal with a lot of images. There's also project management inside of Canva. So you can actually connect Canva and Shopify. So my people who have storefronts, definitely check this out. Now, for my people who just came in, were y'all able to go ahead and download tonight's resources? If you were, go ahead and put a star in the chat for me. If you need it, go ahead and put a 2 in the chat and I'll drop the link for y'all. All right, my girl Tina needs it. Hold on, Tina. Okay, so let me guide you really quick. Okay, Jalissa needs it as well. Okay, so if y'all go back to the classroom, you may have to open another window. If you go back to the classroom, tonight's lesson is live. So there's resources and you can see everything I'll be talking about inside of the basics class. There's a tab inside of there that says Canva, I'm sorry, class resources. And there's a hyperlink there, but I am going to drop it in the chat for y'all. If it lets me be great. Let's see. I'm screaming. It put just download here. It didn't copy the link. Hold on 1 second. I got y'all. And all of tonight's resources are on my Gumroad and they are free. And the link I'm putting in the chat for y'all right now is actually all of the resources. So if you go there and download that suite, it'll give you everything versus trying to download everything individually. Y'all let me know if y'all need any assistance with that. Tonight's brand kit is in there as well. Okay, so back to our apps that we can integrate inside our designs. We have different things we can use for text styling. So my people who have trouble with figuring out what works for them and the visual that they're trying to get to with their words. Because I know sometimes, you can type it out, but you don't know what font to use. But no worries, there is a font suite inside of the resources that has some font pairings that I think y'all would like, and they're really easy to use. And all of the fonts are inside of Canva. Okay, so I am going to talk about my approach to how I design in Canva really quickly, and then we'll jump into our lesson for tonight. So I started on Canva in 2020 when I was trying to build my business as a virtual assistant. I knew I had to stand out because I saw the competition was stiff, but I didn't necessarily have a visual for my brand. So my business is named Supreme Frequencies. So naturally, you're going to go through some trial and error when you start to design for your brand. And that's exactly what Canva allowed me to do while also being able to see the progression. In my previous live sessions, I always joke about like, I have very little Canva stuff for Supreme Frequencies now because my design game has elevated by just spending time inside of Canva. And it was literally harmful to myself to even look at the old designs. So I don't have a whole bunch of old stuff, but let me see if I can find something for y'all just so y'all can see what I mean. And I want to say the stuff I do have is probably like the third or fourth rebrand. Oh, this is going to be so cringe. I already know it. Oh, it's cringy. It's cringy. It's cringy. It's cringy. But yeah, this is like one of the very first things I designed inside of Canva. And you couldn't tell me I wasn't taking it. Wait, something spins here. Period. With my spinning galaxy, you couldn't tell me I wasn't doing it. One of my, I want to say this is like, mm, probably like the, I want to say the third or the fourth rebrand, but you could totally elevate inside of Canva um, while designing. But I knew I had to stand out one, and Canva allowed me to do that without like breaking the bank. So of course, naturally, when you first start a business, you don't have a whole lot of money to throw into it, but you may have time. So I've spent since 2020, I've calculated the other day, close to 5,000 hours in 5 years inside of Canva to be able to get to the point where I'm at now. This was probably like year mm, one and a half, maybe. And I really had to spend some time. This is when I didn't know about texture and layering and all the different things that you can do to elevate a design. So, the whole point of this was for me not to have to pay somebody to do it because one, I didn't know what I wanted to create, and two, I just simply didn't have the budget for it. So, I am going to give you the basics that I had to learn blood, sweat, and tears without the complications that you may go through trying to figure it out on your own. So right now we have a 8.5 by 11, which is going to be a standard piece of paper. You scared me so bad. Hold on, y'all. See you in a little bit. Can you turn the air down? See you later. So this is a standard 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, but you can tailor your design to however you need it. Um, I am actually going to go ahead and open up the brand kit really quickly so we can get on that next. But I am just going to take you through a few things on the tool side. So right now with that 8.5 by 11 piece of paper that we have up, in that design section, Canva is going to give us some templates that we can potentially use for whatever we may need. So like here, somebody selling a cafe frio. Somebody has a motivational post. These are templates that you can use under the pro subscription. So when you see this crown in that bottom right-hand corner, this means that this is a Canva Pro template. Let's see if I can find y'all one without it. So like this resume here, if you need a resume, this is one that you can use under the free subscription. So these are typically things that would be on an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. You have a mini newspaper. You have more motivational things. So that design section, depending on what size this design is and what you picked, will come up. So for example, if I put website or portfolio, presentation, Instagram post, it'll give me things under those categories. Okay, so under elements, this is where our meat and potatoes of Canva is if we aren't importing anything as far as our own visual real estate. So you will see here, you have a recently used section. So if you don't know what something is called and you can't seem to remember how you found it, you're gonna go ahead and head to that recently used section. You'll be able to see everything you've dabbled with as you were designing. Any shapes, you have every shape from a square to a heart to a chat bubble, arrows, whatever you need. Now, lines, I'll tell y'all why I skipped over that in a second. But these, you can actually customize them and you can change the colors on them. You can, so see how this pink came up? This is actually my brand kit. It's automatically going to do that every time. But if I want to change it to this, I can. But everything is pretty much going to, if you don't have a brand kit set up, more than likely pop up in black. Okay, and the reason why I skipped over lines, we need to go into detail with lines because these suckers can get a little tricky. So depending on what you're designing, lines will automatically lock themselves to certain things in your designs. So right now we have nothing in our design, so we are able to go across the board 0. But notice when I go down, it's crooked. Beginners may not necessarily see that that line is crooked. So a really good way to be able to tell is rotate it, and you always want to be at, let me see if it's gonna let me get it, 0. That will indicate that your line is straight. So just remember, you can change the length, you could also change the width, and that is gonna be under here, and that's gonna be stroke weight. You can have a system was a little heavy like a Chevy. We're gonna have to drop it down so y'all can see it. You can have a dash line, you can have a smaller dash line, and you can have a dotted line. Now, if you want your ends to not be so sharp, you can go ahead and round them off. If you need to change the color of your dots, you can do so here. You can change them to pretty much anything you need. I'm not sure if it lets you do gradient. Yeah, you can do gradient. There we go. But you can do that with all of these lines, and depending on what you're creating, um, determines which one you want to use. The first one is pretty much standard, but if you're doing like math or you're doing any type of equations or graphs and presentations, you may spend a lot of time with these lines. Okay, so let's go ahead and get rid of those and head to our text. So you remember that brand kit we were talking about, the one we'll create in a little bit, we'll do the same thing. We add our text. That way we know every time we need a title, it'll be in Tan Songbird. If we need a subtitle, it'll be in Garrett. If we need a heading, it'll be in Canva Sans. And those things should complement each other. Anybody have any questions so far? Anybody need me to go back and repeat anything? If you're just coming in, I say good evening, good afternoon. If you need the resources for tonight, they are in the class resources area. Okay, we will go ahead and continue because I don't see any questions in the chat. That brand kit we were talking about earlier is going to be here. So this is a better view of the in detail brand. So you can actually add photos, you can add icons. If you use any charts that have any particular style, you can add them here as well. Now, this is a very important part. And this is where I want to tell you how to use AI to be able to generate this. So go ahead and whether you're a chat GPT user, even if you want to generate um, an Abacus or Gemini or whatever, there's a million AIs these days. What you want to do is you want to talk about the purpose of your brand, why you're doing it, your goal, and what would make you the proudest. In those things, get whatever AI you're using to generate what your brand voice is. What you'll do with that is that's how you're going to generate every time. And what I mean by that, if you are running a promotion, that promotion should reflect your brand voice. No, it's not going to be that subject matter, but it's going to be in your brand voice. So, like mine is, let me see what I have here. DiKameronD's brand voice is empowering, authentic, and supportive. We celebrate growth and success while providing honest guidance, ensuring everyone feels valued and inspired. Our tone is professional yet approachable, fostering inclusivity and belonging. With a blend of expertise and fun, we motivate others to reach their goals while staying transparent and relatable. Guidance, ensuring everyone feels valued and inspired. Our tone is professional yet approachable, fostering inclusivity and belonging. With a blend of expertise and fun, we motivate others to reach their goals while staying transparent and relatable. At DiKameronD, we believe in building a thriving community where everyone can shine and succeed together. Now, generating this brand voice, you would then describe what you're doing. And then from there, hit generate. I don't use this, but feel free to do so as you explore. So your upload section, this is going to be where all of your images that you added from your device, whether your phone or your laptop, iPad, will be stored. As you can see, I have 1,000,005 things going on. You never know what you're going to get with me in here, but this store is literally, I can go on forever. I recommend cleaning this out every now and then and keep the things that you absolutely need for the time. It's about time that I go ahead and clean mine out, but it stores literally hundreds and hundreds. The reason why I say clean it out is because you don't want to get overwhelmed. Because, like this was from a flyer class. I have kept this because I actually need to export these to be able to give to um, anybody who wants to recreate that flyer. So that's why I still have those. But, like, let me see something I can't get rid of. So far, okay, like this random lady. I don't know who this is. She was a part of something that I created. As Kiki Palmer would say, sorry to this man. I don't know her, so we could get rid of it. But things like that you want to be able to get rid of that you know for sure that you're never going to use again. Tools. This is where you can actually draw different colors, basically as you would on the iPad. This is a little bit difficult to use if so let me tell I'm screaming. Let me tell you why I have the New York Giants in here. So my brother-in-law actually hosts a sports podcast and I do his flyers for him. And I'm having to um keep all things football. And what's crazy is he's a Cowboys fan and my husband is a Saints fan. So it's just I'm constantly in a conundrum when it comes to the sports. But yeah, I got a whole lot of just stuff in here. Hmm. I don't know if we too happy to holler who that right now, but we still rock with them. Now my husband is actually named after a Saints player, so you write who that forever. That project section we were talking about earlier can actually be seen inside of your design. So if you need something that you created earlier, you can actually come in here, do some clicking, and add it into your design. Now, I know you're probably wondering, can I edit it? No, you would have to go to the original design and edit from there. Because, like this, see, it imports as a sheet, a PDF, actually. Okay. That app section we talked about earlier, now you can use those things and actually import it in your design. Magic Media is going to be another version of Canva's AI. Photos, you can actually search for different types of photos. Canva, of course, has their wonderful logo in here that you can use, but these are going to be stock images if you don't have anything. So, for example, let's see, Edgar Allan Poe. If you're writing something about crows or whatever Edgar Allan Poe requires, you may need his picture. You have stock images here where you don't necessarily have to go to Google. If you do anything with money, and I don't mean like don't be out here printing money, but you can actually get very hyper realistic um like tens, twenties, dollars, hundreds, fifties inside of Canva and use them in your designs. If you need audio, and I want to say Canva actually has mainstream music now, but always remember you can't use mainstream music on certain platforms. You can also import charts with data to back it. So these aren't um, just plain charts for visuals. You can actually import data, and this is more so on the presentation side. And then some of your folders are going to pop up. Like this is a personal folder here. I'm not sure why it's on the side, but you can actually get rid of it by pressing X. All of your starred stuff is going to be here. Um, don't know what that is, but it says logo on it. Um, QR codes. Any business owners in here, I recommend you use this QR code and always link it to your link tree or your site, and it'll generate for you. Marketing campaigns, this is another folder. So as you can see, it's just a whole bunch of folders and a few different apps that you can have loaded on this side. All right, so for the fun stuff, we are actually gonna go ahead and get into some brand kit stuff. And the reason why this is important because it helps you create consistency across the board as you design. So let me know once you have this up. Let me tell you something. Canva about to be the death of me. I switched from Teams to Pro because I'm the only one using it, and it will not leave me alone. Like, geez. But this is what you should see when you open up that brand kit. If anybody needs it, go ahead and give me a 2 in the chat and I will drop the link. Tamika, I know you just came in not too long ago. So if you need the resources for tonight, just let me know and I could put the link in the chat. It's my girl, Empress. If you need that brand kit, go ahead and drop a 2 in the chat. I got you, Tamika. Here we go. Hold the phone. My girl Empress needs it. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Pasting it. And you just got a letter. It is now in the chat. Hello. How you doing? Wonderful. Okay, so that link I just put in the chat for y'all is actually going to host all of tonight's resources. So you're going to have a keyboard shortcut cheat sheet, font pairing mini guide, color palette starter kit, export sizing and cheat sheet, and then the brand style board template. That is what we are working on here. Okay. So what we are doing here, this first activity, is I am going to show you how to find hex codes. So a hex code is the name or identifier of what colors are. So to the naked eye, this looks like black, but realistically, it's 1E3009. So we want to copy that code and drop it in here. Hold on. I'm working on the wrong keyboard. Hold on 1 second. All right. Now, if we want to do that again, I am looking for what this code is. I am going to head over to the circle at the top where it says color. This typically doesn't show the first time. What you do is you'll click on the color. The name is yellow green. To the naked eye, that's just a different shade of green. The hex code is going to be 7F9327. We are going to go ahead and copy that code, and we're going to come over here and paste it. So for anybody who is working on the hex codes, go ahead and let me know what is the hex code for this, and we will double check it. D92F5C. Let us see. D92F5C. Go ahead, give yourselves a pat on the back. Love to see it. Okay. And let's do this one. So does the concept of grabbing hex codes seem comfortable? Let me get a yay or a nay. Got it. Okay. All right, perfect. So what this is and what we would use this for, if this was our brand kit, we would then send this to say we are getting something created like shirts, or we're not doing the designing of our business cards or flyers or any visual real estate you need for your brand. You would send this to the person who is, so you know that you're not just saying, oh, my colors are black, green, a red, pink, and then a lighter pink. Because guess what? It's 1,000,005 different blacks. You don't know what they're going to choose. So you want to make sure that your branding visual is consistent every time something is printed. So, next activity, I want you to go ahead and create your own brand with your own colors. And I am actually going to reverse these hex codes really quick because I just realized something. I need to make a copy because that's y'all's template I'm on. Hold on. Okay, so for me, these are my colors. I have, I'm gonna start darkest to lightest. Here we go. Because I mean, there's just no such thing as too much pink. Now, let's see if this is the same white. How you can do that is when you click on the color, notice it's automatically selected with a purple ring around it. That means it's the same. Whereas this white may be different. That is going to be Fe, 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 and let's see what this one is. Fe, Fe, Fe. So it's the same. And if y'all don't want to complete this now, you don't have to, but this is something that you can go ahead and work on in your own time. Um, to create your own brand kit. And then later on down the line, we'll get into more aggressive details on other things that are required inside of your brand kit. But hopefully tonight you'll be able to um, not only find your colors, but also find some font pairings that you may like as well. Okay, so I am going to ask the question, besides colors, what do you think a brand kit has? It absolutely has to have. And while y'all do that, I'll bring, let's see, this up. Colors, fonts, and logo, correct. I'm looking for one more thing, and it's similar to a logo. Ooh, that's really good. I like that. No, but I like that. And maybe that should be a part of um Brand kits. Template is a really good answer. Okay. So what I'm thinking is your secondary images. So like for example, this for me is a secondary image, whereas this is my actual logo. So it's other ways that you can be identified. So if you know you see my big old juicy head, that's me. But if you also see DiKameronD, you also know it's me. So what you're doing is you're training your consumers to know how to spot you out in a crowd. So for example, we know McDonald's is McDonald's, but what is McDonald's secondary logo? Those golden arches, absolutely. Some brands have multiple. I don't recommend more than three, and three is kind of pushing it, but I definitely recommend you explore some secondary options. So once you create your logo, if you have a text-based logo, so for example, I'm gonna use the unfiltered baddie. That could be whatever her theme is. So for the unfiltered baddie, her theme has a kiss. That is her secondary logo. Her third logo could also be TUB and some sort of unique form that lets the consumer know that that is the unfiltered baddie. So your doll would actually be a character of your brand, which is also an indicator of your brand. So it can be confusing, but typically, like Ronald McDonald, think about it like this: we don't necessarily think Ronald McDonald as the logo of McDonald's. We see him as the representative of McDonald's. And I ain't seen Ronald in a hot minute, so he might have got furloughed. So think about it that way. Yeah, I'm thinking about it like out loud. I haven't seen Ronald in years. I hope they gave my boy a severance package because that's kind of crazy to just like see him and then not. But brands can do that. You can absolutely rebrand to where you can take certain elements of your brand away or you can add them. So don't feel like you have to absolutely stick with one theme. Now, granted, you want to, if you do decide to change it, you want to be able to let your consumers know, like, oh, we have a new look. So, for example, look at the uproar with Cracker Barrel. People are expressing their disdain with the new rebrand, but they did let the consumers know, like, hey, we're rebranding. So people aren't confused. Okay, let me do some scrolling really quick, y'all. I'm just grabbing the next thing. I am on this side. Okay, so here we go. What you see here, this is actually included in your free resources, are going to be those font pairings I was telling you about. They already had that stuff printed and ready too. Couldn't take that. No, they couldn't. And this is the thing. When you do certain things with your brand, especially when you are a brand that's been around for a very long time, you have to think about them. Like you have to put a little bit more thought process into things like rebranding because you wanted to capture the essence of whatever that brand is. Let me tell you something. The only thing I'm going in Cracker Barrel for is the biscuits and that root beer. That's about it. My vision of what Cracker Barrel should be is going to be completely different than what they see, what the company sees. And that's pretty much how it got confused with consumers because they're like, wait a minute, what changed? And y'all spent all this money for what? But this is in your free resources, a couple different font pairings that you can put together, play around with. Now, what I do want to let y'all know is say you want to select this font. It doesn't have to look like this. So this is going to be the base of what this looks like. But remember, you can go ahead and add effects. You can add layering, like different outlines, or you can split it in half. You can make it hollow. So you can absolutely have text-based logos or different writings and it not look like the generic of whatever the font you select. But this is included in your free resources. And let's see what else we have as far as your free resources. Okay, we need our screen real estate here. Hold on one second. So, this export cheat sheet is actually going to help you figure out how you need to export certain images to go on certain platforms. So, believe it or not, you would think because you can cross post from Instagram to Facebook, or if you're on a content calendar, you can post one, like you can export one thing and use it for all. But believe it or not, if you use a square post from Instagram and you move it over to Facebook via cross posting, it's gonna come out blurry. You are so welcome. This thing got some like jam packed. I made sure y'all had everything from the type of files, PNGs, JPEGs, PDFs. If you do any like vector printing, you have all of this information in there, as well as resolution and size settings. Yeah, and if you have a lot of like visuals, Cena, depending on what that visual is, like you can have a icon in this corner and an icon in this corner. One may be blurry, one may be even more blurry. It just depends on the resolution of what that thing already is. And then when you go to export it, naturally, it's just going to export at whatever um, it is you select in the settings. So I always recommend that you go up because it doesn't hurt. And I'll show you what I mean by it. Um, but yeah, you have resolution and sizes. You have export options depending on what you're trying to do, what you're trying to use this export for. Um, bleed margins and trim. So this is for print. And you can actually turn this setting on inside of your Canva. Transparency and background. Did I put the same thing twice? Okay, yeah. That's just continued. Got it. Or did I? No, we good. Transparency and backgrounds. If you are trying to export something transparent like a logo, make sure that that back screen isn't colored because it will export with you. Or you have like something, a shape or something that has any transparency but color to it, it will export with the transparency. So basically what that transparent does is just pull that very last background. I always see 300 DPI on PNG images on Etsy, but how do you know it is 300? Good question. So, for example, I don't know if it's gonna let me do it on here because this thing is so long. Okay, you see here? This is gonna show your size. But what I always recommend that you do for things like that, you increase here and then always keep it whatever size Etsy requires. So like under that resize feature, let me see if it's gonna let me. Keep it whatever size Etsy requires here. But when it's time to export it, change it here. And if you go all the way to the end, if I remember correctly, it's too big for Etsy. You may want to go like 1.25, just slightly bigger. But just send me a message and I'm gonna see if I can find you um any Etsy like export stuff. And if anybody else needs it, just send me a message and I'll send it to you. But yeah, we have all this stuff inside of here. And then, of course, you can go to the school communities here. These things are clickable. But this is one of your freebies for tonight. And then let's see what else I have for y'all. And then the Canva keyboard shortcuts is the other freebie. So I know everybody's on a different system. I know some people on Mac, some people on Windows, but Canva can be really easy to use, especially if you are using your keyboard. So things like Command Z to undo or Command S to save. You can honestly keep your hand on the mouse and your hand on the keyboard and simultaneously use the two of them to be extremely efficient in Canva, but that takes practice. So here's a little brief, well, I mean, it's far from brief, but a cheat sheet on all the commands to use for Canva for Windows and Mac. Group and selection, alignment, making sure everything is, you know, locked, unlocked, whatever you need is in here. And the last thing I put in here is if y'all do any presentations for your job or for whatever side missions you have in life, there's different commands that you can use for the presentations to present efficiently. So these are your freebies that are included in that Canva link. And let me see what we missing. Okay, these are your fonts. I'm just closing the things that I don't need. I don't like to keep a whole bunch of stuff open. Just as a good measure because these a lot of times can get a little hectic. So for y'all brand kits, is anybody working on their brand kit right now and want to share their hex codes? And while we wait on that, I am going to show you your final freebie if I can find it. Here we go. And then the last freebie y'all have is actually going to be a whole bunch of color palettes that you can use. And it acts as an activity as well for you to gain some practice finding those hex codes, but also finding inspo images to go with this. So, for example, if I am looking for something that looks and reminds me of lemonade, I may come here. Or I want to do something for the 4th of July, I could use this. So there's instructions in the beginning that allows you to get that inspo, put it here, and put your image in the background. Any questions so far? Any concerns? Anything you are struggling with as you design these days? Speak now, forever hold your peace. Before we jump into templates. If everybody's good, let me get a 1 in the chat. If you screaming for Jesus and need help, let me get a 2. Okay, just adding the people who wanted to get in. Okay, everybody's good. Cool, cool, cool. Now templates. Tell me, what are y'all using templates for these days? And what kind of template? Or if you use templates, like what is your history around templates inside of Canva? I'll have to catch up on the last part. Never using Canva. Okay. The last thing we did, Empress, I'm trying to see, I want to say was the brand kit. But hold the phone. No worries because I am recording this session and then the recording is going to go inside of the classroom. If you head over to the classroom, everything we cover for tonight is in there. Okay, so playground. Let me check out what's playground because I have never heard of playground. Free AI design tool. Interesting. Okay, t-shirts, monograms, social posts. And what are you using playground for, Tina? Interesting. Okay, t-shirts, monograms, social posts. And what are you using playground for, Tina? T-shirts and stickers. Now, are you printing through playground? Or are you just designing? Gotcha. Okay. Understood. Gotcha. Now, if you are using things like Canva to print, of course, there's the option inside of Canva where you can print with Canva. But I'm gonna give y'all my honest feedback. It is a little expensive depending on what you are trying to print. Business cards, I recommend you do through Canva because they are fairly um price inside of Canva for the amount that you get versus anywhere else. But I recommend you reach out to your local print shops if you have anything that you need to print, whether it's one or two or even in a bulk. More than likely, that's going to be your best bet for the best price. So, for example, back home, in Lafayette, there is a place, I think it's called the consignment shop, where say you're doing shirt designs, you can design everything in Canva and then send the PDF to them, and then they'll print the entire thing for you. And then all you have to do is heat press it onto whatever you're putting it on. That's cheaper than you go and buy the equipment, buy the, whatever it is to create the design. Any mishaps, you know for sure it's gonna come out right. Now, if you're doing this as a business and you have all that equipment, more power to you. Okay, templates. So we are gonna go and explore some Instagram post templates because no matter your business or no matter your brand, you need to be promoting on social media. Okay, so does anybody want to share their brand and see what we can find inside of the templated section to see what we can tweak about it? Flyers, business cards, and shirts. Okay. Now, I will tell y'all a little secret sauce that you can use. So, for example, say you like this concept, right? All this is an outline on the image. But if you don't know that because you're just starting out, you can come inside this template, customize it. Let's see. We're gonna copy Miss Mama's and we're gonna bring her, hold on, here. Okay. We just took her from one design to the next. This is gonna work my soul. Okay, now if I want to do that same thing, let me see. Let me find an image that I can do that to that I know is gonna work. Uh, let's see. And it doesn't have to be a person. I'm just trying to find a. Okay, let me see. Let me see. I know I got something in here. I'm just trying to. We're going on a rabbit hole now. Okay, so say I want to use this family picture. I would remove the background. And yes, that is me in the middle, if you're wondering. We're gonna copy style and we are gonna paste. So now that image has that same design. So you can take elements. I always recommend, like, when you first start customizing, take elements that you like, but don't use the whole post. So another thing, let's see, something else we could take. Just find something unique. Oh, this eats. I'm probably gonna use this later. And what am I gonna do? I'm gonna customize it and then star it. But let's see what else we can use. Uh, Nothing in here is catching my eye. Okay, let's say we want to use this. We're gonna drag, double copy, add this here. We're just gonna make us a quick little promo because I am getting ready to drop a new website. So do that. Okay. Everybody feeling comfortable with the idea of just dragging and dropping from different templates to start out if need be? Let's see. I saw something earlier. Okay, feeling comfortable. I saw something not too long ago. Wait, hold on. Mouse is on the other screen. Oh, templates. That strawberry thing I saw earlier was kind of cute. I don't know if we're gonna be able to find it again. Okay, cool. Even something like this, if you have a store or you have different events coming up, depending on what your brand is or your theme, you may be able to find a whole lot of stuff. Oh, snap. Let's see what they have here. Oh, cool, cool, cool. So now there's Marvel things inside of Canva. So a lot of times we have to import these things when we're doing copywritten characters, and I don't recommend you sell those, by the way. Um, they actually have it inside of Canva now. We got Hocus Pocus. It's spooky season is upon us. Lilo and Stitch. So that's pretty cool. So what are y'all struggling with right now as far as the basics? We're gonna go back to this and mess around with it as we answer those questions. Talk to me, talk to me, talk to me. What are we struggling with? What do you feel like you can do better at? Like what's the feelings? Okay, that's actually crooked. I'm learning how to put things. Let me tell you something. That is gonna be your best friend. And you'd be surprised how it honestly elevates your designs because you still have to put some thought process into it. Like you're not just gonna grab a whole bunch of random stuff and just start putting it in a design. But that's honestly what helps you learn as well. Let's see if it's gonna let me change the color. Okay, just doing this really quick. And we want to change all. So notice how I don't want the font to be black anymore. I can actually change it to the color that I want and then hit change all. And everything that is that color inside of that design is gonna change. Sometimes when you try to change the color like you just did, it's not always the color you select. Really? What you mean? Like how I went to select and make this white, it selects something else that you didn't select? Ah, fading and not the image looking flat. And then gotcha. Hold on 1 second, y'all. I need to run to the bathroom. Put all of y'all's questions in the chat, and I will be right back. I was talking and didn't even know I was muted. Okay, cool. So when you say fading, do you mean like that harsh line that's at the bottom? Or you mean just like in the center of designs? What you mean? Around photos and images, etc. Hard edges. So like this picture has pretty much. Okay, so two things you could do. Surround it with other elements, or you want to take it to something like Nano Banana, which is going to be an AI generator, and have it extend the image and round it out. So what I would ask Nano Banana to do is just take this image. I would download the original with the background and tell it round out the shoulders. Then take that image and put it back in if your edges are hard on this side. The third thing that you can do, you can also add a blur. So inside of the app section, I just need to find it for you. This is what I use the most. But let us type, I'm trying to remember what it's called. There is something inside of here that helps get like rid of those hard edges. I'm gonna find it for you, but you could also use a blur. So you want to type in blur, and you want to make sure that you select one that you can actually change the color. So see, like this one, that circle at the top doesn't pop up. Whereas, let's see, can we use this? This one does. So ladies, let me see something. Make them bigger. So when you make things like this bigger, I always recommend you duplicate. And of course, this looks a little aggressive because there's no background on it, but whatever colors you select for your design, you want that blur to be the same color. So are these hard edges after you remove the background or something? Yeah, so this wouldn't be so aggressive. Say we put like, let me see. I'm gonna use my I'm gonna show you this design I just did where I had to do that. And it blends in. So naturally, these images here, when you remove the background, have a harsh line at the bottom. That blur that I just showed you is what I use back here to fade them out. And it's just one long blur. So you can see that super long box that's here. That's what it is. And from a crop. Yeah, that Diddy crop gonna get you every time. Let me see. Let's close this. Let me grab that background that I was gonna use. We need two things. Two things. Where is it? And that's my overlay. Okay, so what we want to do is send this to the back. So who can tell me the command to send to back? Somebody on Mac or somebody on Windows? Yeah, you could go to position, which is going to be here, y'all. This is what she's talking about. But if I don't want to do these extracurriculars and I just want to hit my keyboard, I mean, of course, we could do this. We could go to layer and we could hit send backward, which is only going to go back one layer. But we wanted to go all the way back. No, it's extracurriculars. You know what I mean? It's extra clicking that you got to do to like get to where you need to go. So naturally, what I do is going to be command right facing bracket, and that'll send it all the way to the back. We want to lock our background always. We're going to use this in a second. So we're going to put Miss Mama's here because I don't need it just yet. So for like this background to get this to blend, what you can do is also change the transparency on it. So of course we don't want black because that don't have nothing to do with what we have going on. Come on, Option Command Right bracket. So there's still going to be a harsh line here. And I did this for y'all to be able to see what I mean. Lighter colors are always going to bleed through, especially if they have this outline on them. So notice that harsh line is still there. So you can play around with your transparencies. Let me see. Let's bring that sucker all the way up. And see, there's still a harsh line. So you want to stick with the darker colors that are inside of this design. So we are going to go for red. That's still too bright. So you may want to pick up on like a different type of red, but still complement. So what we're going to do is we're going to type in red in the color section and see what comes up for us. Now remember, we are staying away from here and we want to live more up here. So let's start with our lightest possible we can go. Still too dark, oh, still too light. And then what did I say? We double up on those. And then let's make the back one the darkest. That's too close to black. And notice how it's starting to fade. Now, granted, on this particular picture, it's going like this. So this is only for examples purposes. But depending on what you're doing, you also can layer different elements on top. So if I was to be using this picture here and I'm adding something at the bottom, I still may absolutely need this blur, but I also may be adding a box here that can then hide certain elements of what's going on. So like in this design, if this wasn't here as far as the bouquet or the blur, you would probably be able to see the harsh line at the very bottom. But because we added different elements and we were able to move that blur to the left and the right, you can't tell that it's extremely sharp at the bottom. So it's really an eye thing. as well. So you have to play with it until your eyes are satisfied, because you have to remember that people are consuming your content eyes first. Okay. So text. Are you having trouble pairing text? Or are you just having trouble like talk to me? What's the specifics? And while we wait on Empress to type that, I am going to give you another free resource that you can use for different textiles. So if y'all go to Dafont, DAFONT.com, and there's a font that you like in there, go ahead and download it. And then you can actually add it to, where are we at? I'm gonna do it from here. Here we go. You can actually upload a font. Oh no, I was mentioning that as a lit. Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. You can totally add text. Like it just depends on whatever it is you create. More than likely, you're not gonna have a flat design for whatever it is you're creating. Whether it's for your brand, your business, you selling something, it's a promo. It's gonna be extremely dimensional. Now, to help y'all with the image upscaler that I was talking about earlier, notice this picture is actually a picture of a picture. So it has like a weird shine to it. What we would do is we would come to edit at the top left hand corner. We want to scroll down where it says apps. We want to hit see all, and we want to head to image upscaler. Now you may get this message where it says your image is already high resolution. Um, go as high as you could possibly go. So notice the 8x and the 16x are grayed out. Still upscale it. It's going to give you this screen. Okay, we waiting. We'll gladly wait. We get there. So this is usually depending on the picture as well. Like I did one earlier for a client, and we were sitting in there for forever waiting on it to finish. So if you can direct your eyes to the left hand side of the screen, the left side here is the original image. It comes with a scroll to where you can see, and it clears it up just a smidge. Slightly see the difference. What we want to do is we want to go ahead and click replace. Upload, I timed out, try again. Okay, hold on. Let's see. Okay. Well, Canva's not being our friend right now, but I can show y'all the um design I did where we had to uh, switch over the images to high resolution. So I was building a media kit for my client, and these are the her OG pictures that she used, and the resolution on these were absolutely immaculate. Whereas on the new images that she took, how we were talking about earlier, whoever exported them didn't export them as high resolution, and then they sent them to her via text. And of course, naturally, text messages, the resolution, sometimes it looks like it's taken on the toaster strudel. So they sent it to her, then she sent it to me. So the resolution is just going down and down each time. So notice here, it's not a very clear picture at all. But if we go to that edit, we hit see all, we do image upscaler, hit upscale, hopefully it works. Let me see. But these two images, this one for sure was upscaled and it came out immaculate. Whereas this one is still showing as a blur. But I don't know if we're going to use these images because this one is way more dimensional than before. So let's see, add. Okay, yeah, it's not feeling this right now. But that's what I mean when it comes to that image upscaler. You can totally see the difference from this image to this image. Okay, let's head back to our design. Now, the other thing I wanted to talk to y'all about that you can do inside of Canva, I don't necessarily recommend it because Canva can be a little tricky when it comes to that extender. And that's why I said take it to Nano Banana. But you can actually extend images inside of Canva and you just go to the Magic Studio section and you are going to do Magic Expand. It's going to ask you how much you want to expand. I am looking for maybe right here. We don't want her to have Johnny Bravo shoulders. And we're going to hit expand. And let's see what it creates for us. Sometimes this works really well. Sometimes I don't know what Canva's on, but this is a really good feature if you are using like flatter designs. So it gave her a third leg, but you know, if you cropping this, cool. Because I'm pretty sure this was her left leg. So I don't know why I gave her another leg. But it also gives you, girl, the way she would tear me up if she saw this. So we were just looking for the roundness of the shoulder, not necessarily the extra leg. So this would cause us to have to crop it anyway. So this is where something like a higher power AI generator, like Nano Banana, would be able to do exactly what you asked of it. Now, we don't want to use that, so we're just going to hit back. Now, other editing features you can do inside of photos, inside of the design are going to be different filters. So if you are looking for like a vintage aesthetic and you want to do something black and white, you may do classic. So this would be good for like newspapers. And you could change the intensity on it. Like if you don't want it all the way black and white, you can drop it down. You can do different fun things like heat waves. Don't know why we would want to do that, but you know, pick your poison. You can do different things. Now, as far as editing, like blemishes and that kind of thing, there's going to be little small tools like face retouch in here. Baby, if we smooth any more skin in here, we're going to be newborn. But this is good for like actual raw, unfiltered, untouched images. So like if you were to take a picture of yourself, not saying that you're not flawless on the front camera, but some of us be looking a little hit. If you need to import that inside of Canva, you can do that and mess around with the smooth skin. You can do different things here and there. Now, other features as far as photo editing, you can do background generators, you can do magic erase. So that extra leg that Sister Girl had here, if we wanted to go in and erase it, we totally could. Let's see. Yeah, you know, sometimes every day is not our best day. You know, you feel what I'm saying. So we have the magic expand, magic edit. So if we wanted to make my sister hold a rose, we could totally do that. If we wanted to grab any text, if they had any text in this picture, notice it says we don't detect any text. But if it did, we could change the colors. We can do different things without having to start all the way over. Now, as far as effects, That outline that we have here is actually a shadow. I don't know if y'all can see it because it's pretty much the same color as the background. Let me do this. That is going to be the outline under shadows, but you can do glow, you can do drop shadows, you can have a curved shadow. Depending on what you're using shadows for will determine the type that you need to use. Backdrop, you can change the blur amounts on them as well as the direction. And then there's a few other things that you can do, like if we wanted to blur this image. So this is another thing you can do for those harsh lines, Empress. If we wanted to come here and just completely draw out this bottom line, and I'm gonna remove it and change the intensity. And then add that blur on top, we wouldn't have to do such the dark hole effect. So once you see it's super duper small, like a brief erase. But what you would need to do is a bigger one at a higher intensity. So we're gonna undo that. And we are gonna do a couple more photo editing things, and then I'm gonna open the floor for questions, and then we will be done. So if this picture was not focused, we could also autofocus the picture. It's not gonna do too much because it's a picture of a picture. If we wanted to erase certain things, so like what I'm assuming is her coattail, if we wanted to come in and erase that, that's probably why we had a generated third leg, because it probably thought that's what it was. And then have it like this, but it's giving very much Gru from Despicable Me because she doesn't have a shoulder. But if it was full out, you'd be able to tell that it's a person. You know what I mean? It wouldn't be such a harsh line. And then the final thing I wanted to cover with the photo editing section is if you have anything as far as like mock-ups that you need, like if you are selling a product and I wanted to say put this on, I don't know, I wanted to be like, okay, let's create a Mother's Day mug. Oh gosh, I could totally put myself, I really might do this, y'all. I might order my mama a mug of me. Um, you can see the actual product. So if you wanted to create, but not necessarily have to buy anything to display the product or buy samples, you can use the mockup feature. And there's literally, I kid y'all not, pretty much everything you could possibly want in here. We're gonna get rid of you. So if you have journals that you want to do, or let's see what else they have in here. Something on the phone, computer screens. There's also t-shirts. So for my people who do um drop shipping with t-shirts and you just design them, here you go. You have different frames. You can do bags, things on iPads. You have models for shirts. Now, if you are looking for something to model whatever it is you create, I recommend using Nano Banana for that as well. I am not sponsored. I just really love the realization of um that Nano Banana creates. Like it does really well at creating and generating images of people that don't look AI. Like some you could tell some of the things that's out there as far as like people generation because it has a certain like filter on it. So you can ask Nano Banana to create, oh, let me get a man bun wearing my shirt. Harpo, who is this man? We don't know, but we know for sure he can model our clothes. So you can do things like that inside of Canva as well. But if you need more in detail or you need more people, definitely use something like a nano banana. Now, I know you're probably wondering how I got my picture back. What we are going to do is we are going to head over to edit and hit detach image. And it gives me back the picture and we can get rid of whatever it is we were using for our mock-up. So that is the photo editing section where you can do pretty much anything and everything. Always remember, you can always go to apps, and there's way more that you can do inside of Canva as far as if you need things generated, whether it's audio, visual, to import into your designs. Any questions? Let's see. So background remover, background generator, all of these are pro features. Certain things inside of the apps are pro, some things are free. So like the mockups, they're free, but the image upscaler is under pro. So it just depends honestly on what you're looking for. Now, let me do this. I'm going to post the link one more time for tonight's resources because I am going to do um, a quick little edit on the video once it downloads so I can upload it to YouTube. But the recording for tonight's class is going to be inside of the course that's in the classroom. And let me stop sharing screen really quick so I can show y'all where the link takes you. Okay. So when you click on that link, it is going to take you to this site called Gumroad, where I'm hosting all of my digital products. All of tonight's resources are included inside of this download. It is going to ask you to name a price. Go ahead and put 0 because it's free. And then hit I want this. It's going to take you to the whole checkout process. The brand kit that we worked on tonight, where you did the hex codes and worked on your own brand kit, is in there. There's the keyboard shortcuts cheat sheet, the font pairing mini guide, color palette starter kit, export and sizing cheat sheet. All of that is in there. If you need the classroom link, let me give you that as well. I gotta switch. Share. Here we go. So when you are in the community, you are gonna go ahead and hit classroom. Tonight's lesson is live. Y'all just got a little sneak peek. The other class that's going to be this week is going to be color foundations, how we are going to build color palettes to meet different accessibility needs as well as to make your visual pop. So that'll be class number 2 this week. But go ahead and click the Canva 101, the basics. And if you go to classroom or class resources, there is going to be the link to click to head to Gumroad. Everything we talked about tonight is in here. You do have some different activities that we didn't discuss, like the social media templates, just to help you click around and do some different things with brands, for your brand to be able to create some social media posts. You have that homework. And then I will also be posting a post-class post inside of the community where I am going to ask y'all to leave a review on tonight's class. I am trying to get in the habit of gaining more reviews. If you need things like design help and or design work, if you have something custom that you need done, just shoot me a message. But if you're looking to go more in detail with like the Canva community stuff, this is just real on the surface. I do have another group called Design Like Dion. and that is the paid community. But we are going to meet here twice a week. I'm going to give y'all resources for every single class that we have. If there's anything that you would like to see, go ahead and let me see what section it is in. Post class board is where the review is going to be posted. Now, for request, go ahead and get your request put in here. It's under a closed mouth doesn't get fed post. This is where you post, hey, I need help with this, or I'm struggling with this concept inside of Canva. Whether it's going to be a tutorial that you get in return or me reaching out to you to let you know how to do something, go ahead and post that here. As far as the calendar, we have classes. I don't know if anybody has done any clicking around, but we have classes scheduled up until May of 2026. Yeah, I'm not playing with y'all. We getting with it. Now, something that is not on the calendar. Next week, we are also doing a fall Halloween week. So if you need like Halloween designs, or you're having a party, or you're doing whatever, that is going to be the week for that. We are trying to get it cranked up for the end of next week, and that'll be, let me go back to the calendar so I can give y'all the date. That'll be either Wednesday or Friday. I haven't decided just yet. But on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, if you are a freelancer or you're looking to become a freelancer, I have the Glow Getter community that is free as well. So I'm hosting classes pretty much Tuesday to Thursday every week, sometimes 3 times a day. She haven't played with us for real though. Touche. I'll give you that one. I'll give you that one. But a lot of really good fun stuff is coming up. The holiday season is going to be jam packed. I am going to be doing 12 days of Christmas, and I have an exclusive for y'all who absolutely just like go overboard with Christmas. I got a surprise in the works. So stay tuned for that. Make sure y'all are, or she said, yes, that is me. So I used to go like super hard for Christmas, but it's just me and my husband, and it's never that serious. Like, we just gonna be at the house watching TV, watching The Grinch. But for my people who take it serious and have kids and have grandbabies and the dogs, the cats, the chickens, the pigs, and the turtles, whoever you're doing it for, we got some really good stuff coming for Christmas. So next class is going to be color foundations. I hope to see y'all there. Make sure that y'all share y'all's experience on social media, and please leave me a review once the post class post goes up. If y'all have any questions, feel free to leave them in the chat. I shall answer them. If not, spill the tea. If you want to come up, absolutely feel free to come up. I forgot to say that in the beginning. I totally encourage y'all running y'all's mouth. Because one thing about it, two things for sure. I'm gonna run mine. So not on a Wednesday. Okay, good to know. Good to know. So just to give you a little idea on the next holidays, Halloween will be next week for sure, but it'll probably be the end of the week. Thanksgiving, we're gonna do some menu designs and different things that people may need for the holiday season. Probably the second week of November, and then soon as December starts, we pretty much getting cranked up with the 12 days of Christmas, because I am taking 3 weeks off for Christmas and New Year's. So be sure to check the calendar. Once again, if you have any design requests, get those in as well. Y'all know where to find me. All the people in here, y'all aren't strangers. So you know where the rock I hide under. If you, I'll be off for my V-Day vacation. I'll miss you on those days. Period. Come on. We love to raise awareness. So anything that y'all have to promote, I don't I don't encourage promotion in the group because let me go off on a tangent about that real quick, and then I'm gonna let y'all run. The reason why I can't allow promo in the group is because people take it too far, and it can get off topic really quick. And I'm not here to be another group that y'all get pitched other people's stuff. Like we really want to learn. That's what it has to be focused on. But if y'all want to promote things, like if y'all have something going on, like Empress for breast cancer awareness or domestic violence that y'all want me to promote, feel free to send it to me in a message and I'll put it on my stories on my socials and I'll share it on my main pages. Just in the group, I have to be very careful because people take things too far. And I never want to have to come up out of what we have going on in a really good environment to be able to essentially let somebody down and be like, hey, you can't post that here. And then they get a bad experience. So I just rather put that out there first that, hey, we can't promote, but if you need to promote something, feel free to send me a message. Other holiday. Gotcha. Yeah, but I mean, if you are promoting it, don't be shy to let me know. Like, hey, I have this cause that I'm trying to promote, and I want to be able to share it with a different community. Absolutely, feel free. But no, like October to December is so many different things going on, and everybody celebrates something different. Like you may not celebrate Christmas, but you may celebrate Kwanzaa. We inclusive around here. So whatever the alternatives are or the other holidays that's going on, we definitely gonna be doing some different things. But our main soon to be thing, like Halloween, that's the end of the month. I was supposed to be at the beginning of the year, I plan to go to Universal, but my plans have obviously changed. If you're in the personal group, you know where I'll be. Um, but yeah, like it's a lot going on. Yeah, the haircut, anything y'all have to promote, whether it's your business or a cause or your baby's got a fundraiser, whatever. Like just let me know, communicate that with me, and I'm more than happy to share. Because I know y'all see me on social media, like y'all see me post, but I'm not a scroller of social media. I'll be on TikTok, like cracking up laughing at stuff, but as far as like watching what people doing, I don't I post and go. So you just gotta let me know what you have going on. Like my good sis Tilia, she'll text me, sis, I'm putting the flyer out. Share the post. You got it. But if y'all are all good to go, I appreciate y'all for popping in, hanging with me. Make sure y'all check the schedule once again. Um, we'll have posts throughout the week. I'll be making a post about what we talked about tonight online so you can share it with your community or if you feel like it was helpful or not helpful, because all criticism is constructive. I believe that, whether good or bad. So I appreciate y'all. I hope y'all have a beautiful evening. I have more work ahead of me for my freelancer classes tomorrow. If you are interested in that community, definitely head to my link tree, which is in my bio on Facebook, to join the Glow Getter. And I'll see y'all on Thursday if y'all will be here. You are so welcome. You are so welcome. I hope y'all have a good night. This has been real. See you Thursday. Anytime, sister. Anytime. Y'all are the best. See y'all later.